What's going on, guys? Greg Hecht here, and I'm here to help you get paid outside the lines. Now, today I got something special to you guys. I'm going to just keep it super simple. It's going to be something that is back in the basics of Forex. Guys, we're going to be talking about the importance behind trend lines, right? What one simple trend line can do for you in the markets and how it can benefit you with growing your account. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. All right, so what we're going to do real quick, guys, is obviously you can see this trend line here. We're going to actually do a little replay. Now, what you guys want to know when it comes to the importance behind trend lines is when you're looking at a downtrend, right, in order to have a actual trend, you want to make sure that you have what? Right? Well, when it comes to a downtrend, you want to make sure you have your lower highs and your lower lows, right? As long as you have that, then you've got yourself a real trend, right? That's where the trend line comes into play. Okay, so what we're going to do real quick is we're going to go ahead and play this, and we're going to see how this plays out. Okay, so as you guys can see, you can see the market coming back. It's wanting to test this trend line, but in order for it to actually be a trend line, you want to make sure that, of course, you have several bounces, right? And those bounces are going to lead to what? Your lower highs and your lower lows, right? Not sure why there's two trend lines, so we're going to go ahead and delete one of them. Okay, now we got our first bounce. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and circle those as it's going. Okay, you got your first bounce. Waiting for our third, or for our second. And typically what you guys will see as well, not only can you be able to trade these, and we'll talk about that here in a sec, but you'll also realize that after like the third or fourth bounce is typically where you get a break of that trend line. Right, so if you see a break of that trend line, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to talk about that here in a sec as well, where you're just going to wait for that break, the retest, and now you can trade that break out as well and wait for your new trend to start. Okay, so we got another bounce right here. See what the market's going to give us. Looks like we're about to have our third bounce. Then you guys are going to see, now before we go to the breakout, let's go ahead and pause this real quick. You guys are going to see that you got your lower highs, okay? You got your lower lows. Now, what do you want to see when it comes to, or how do you trade this, I guess you want to say, right, when it comes to the market? What's the importance behind a trend line? Well, you guys can see that on this new trend, the downtrend now, we have our lower highs and our lower lows. So now what we're going to do is, but you can see this in my other videos as well, you're just going to simply see if there was a zone where you got your bounces at. Okay, if there's a zone, then that's another confirmation. Remember, in our last video, we spoke about how you want to have your 3 to 5 confirmations. When you have your 3 to 5 confirmations, that's when you can get in the buy or the sell in the market, right? But let the market come to you. Now, what are we looking at here? We saw that it was a support, right? It broke, it became a resistance, started our new downtrend, gave us our first lower high, okay? So just from right here alone, the break and the retest, you would have had 118 pips, right? Obviously, if you would have held all the way down, you would have more, but we're simply talking about where can we get in and be confirmed that we're going to be good for about 50 to 100 pips, right? Because why? Well, you can literally hold this trade until one or two things happen, right? One, it breaks you even or it hits your take profit, and two, it breaks this trend line, you get out, right? It broke the trend line, made a higher high, or made a higher high, you're out, right? You don't want to be in that trade. because you know the new trend is coming, right? Or the previous trend if it was an uptrend overall, right? So you got your pips on that one. We waited to the break and the retest on this one as well at the same area. Okay, this one would have given you 172 pips, right? So let's just say you got a 50 to 100 pip take profit, right? Your risk to reward is really, really well done, right? You want to make sure that you're not risking too much, where you're risking more than you're actually gaining, right? We don't want to trade like that. We always want to make sure that our profit's going to be bigger than our loss, and we're always using risk management so that way you're never going to lose in trading, right? You're never going to blow an account if you're using proper risk and you have proper risk to reward management, okay? So our third bounce right here, it's going to be our third and final bounce. We're already at 150 pips, okay? And like I said, I mean, obviously, if you would have held this all the way down, then you would have been at like 500, 600 pips, right? But you're not going to need to really worry about that. If you're like me, you're just getting in, you're getting out, right? You're not necessarily swinging it, but you do want to have your 50 to 100 pips. So that way, even using risk management, you're still making a good amount of money, right? So our stop loss, guys, would have just been like right above the previous wick. So right here. So your risk would have been like 30 pips and you're going for 100, right? So we're good on the risk management, everything else. So that's the power of our trend lines, right? Now let's see how this plays out, right? Let's see when we get our break so that we can go ahead and start looking for buys versus our sells. Still dropping. See, you could have made a lot of money on this trade. Still dropping, still dropping. Send this out a little bit. About to get our break right here. All right, so we're getting ready for a break. Oh, there's our break. We got several retests. Let me go and pause this. We had 2 retests, and then we had what? We had our bullish engulfing candle take off. So where would your entry have been? Right here. Right? Again, you can put a line here. You had your bounce. If you look back, right, another bounce over here. Bounce, bounce. Okay. So we had all our bounces that we needed for our support. What did it do? It broke the support, or it broke the resistance, became newfound support again. We got in. Why? Because it broke the trend line. It's still working as a trend line, but now what? Now you're looking for the opposite trade, right? You're looking for a buy versus sell because it broke and gave you the new high, right? So if you would have got in here, even if you took it to your previous resistance, that would have been 170 pips. Or I believe it comes up here, somewhere in there. Let's see how it plays out. And you could have got out there, right? This one, obviously you can see, it's just going straight up, right? So what does that mean? You have no trend line right here, right? There's no way to put a trend line on this when it's just straight up. You got to have some pullback, right? Now you got to have your higher highs and your higher lows, right? In order for you to actually get in to this buy if you missed it down here, right? Or you could have obviously got the break, the retest here, got in, the break, the retest here, got in, right? You could have scalped your way up, but in order to have your next trend line, you've got to have those things, right? You got to have those confirmations. You got to have on a downtrend, you got to have your lower low, your lower high. Uptrend, you got to have your higher low and your higher high. That is the only way that a trend line is going to be valid and work in your favor, right? But it's okay to keep it and wait for that break, because why? Well, you're going to pretty much most likely get a retest, not all the time. You're going to get that retest, and then you can get in the buy, right? You would have got out way before all this, hopefully, right? If you're using proper risk management and you want to compound that account, you got to take profit. There's always going to be another trade coming, right? So it came all the way back down. You're going to be looking for your new trend and everything else. But that's just showing you real quick, guys. Keep it simple, right? I mean, one trend line can get you so many pips in the market, right? Whether you're using a penny lot, whether you're using 10 cents a pip, $1 a pip, $10 a pip, whatever you're doing, right? Whatever your proper risk is, just make sure you're always using proper risk management. And I promise you right now, trend lines are going to take your trading to a whole new level. It's something that's very basic. It's something that every new trader can understand coming into this, no matter their age group at all, right? I know there's parents that I know personally that taught their kids how to trade, and they sometimes trade better than I do, right? All because they keep it simple. They use a trend line, they let the market come to them, and they use their support and their resistance, right? But this one was based on just a trend line, just to show you guys how simple trading can really become, even with that one powerful trend line, right? And then, of course, on an uptrend, you're just looking for the opposite, right? But you want to make sure you got your higher highs, your higher lows, right? Once you have that, you have a confirmed trend. Now wait for the market to see if it's going to bounce off that trend line and follow it or break it, right? We had our bounces. Our fourth one, what happened? We got our break, our retest, boom, right to the moon, right? Keep it simple in your trading, and you too are going to finally be able to be paid outside the line. So hopefully this helped you guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to that channel. We're going to have better quality videos coming very, very soon. Just make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that way you guys know when we go live. You guys know when we post a video, and we're going to bring crazy, crazy value to you guys in 2021 and create a lot of six-figure traders. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Let's get it.